Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. We'd like to welcome you to Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church in the old Kingston community, if you're familiar. We don't want to take time away from the presentation, so we'll get right into it. If we can just bow for a word of prayer, please. Oh Lord, our Lord, how excellent is your name in all the earth. God, we just thank you and we bless you and we praise you. We invoke and invite your presence in this place. Lead us in this time. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Smith. For those of you who are here tonight, we want to just take another opportunity to welcome you to tonight's community meeting and this presentation. Let me just recognize, I saw a couple of our city officials that came in. I'd like to recognize Commissioner Kelly White. Kelly, hold up your hand, everybody can see you. And Commissioner Paul Reed, we're so happy to see you tonight. Our Assistant City Manager is here, Miss Betty Goodman. Hold up your hand, Betty. All right. Did I miss any city officials? Well, we're going to get to Mr. Chisholm. We're going to get to Mr. Chisholm. But, all right, to all of you, thank you for coming. Let me just give you a general idea of what's going to happen tonight. Tonight's meeting is going to be really two parts. The first part of the meeting is going to be a presentation that I will be giving, and that presentation is based on the information that was shared with our city commissioners by a consultant who was brought on board to give us some direction or some input on how we might be able to manage the homeless that we now find currently residing in our community. And so I wanted to give that presentation first, and following that, we will have a question and answer period, and our own city manager, James Chisholm, will be coming to give us the question and answer. This will be for 1 hour, and we will be able to get, I think, everything done that we need to do in that hour time. The impetus for this meeting tonight came from a question that was asked of me. A person called City Hall and asked if I was going to be purchasing property on North Street to erect a tent city, to which I said absolutely not. And so from that phone call, Mr. Chisholm decided that what we might need to do is come to the community and just share what the city is proposing, rather than have innuendo and false information that is going out into our community. So, if you sit back, relax, we're going to do the first part of this presentation, which is the PowerPoint slide. The current encampment that we now see at the Volusia County building on Beach Street, as many of you know, you can't pick up the paper without seeing something written about those individuals who are now in front of that building. Our city, Daytona Beach, has been working very closely with the Salvation Army. There has been a temporary facility on Blue Road that has been established. My understanding is that all 46 of those beds have been filled on the first night. As I mentioned, Daytona Beach is not supporting the establishment of a tent city and will block any effort to create a tent city. According to what we have knowledge of, 11 cities tentatively want to seek a homeless solution in Volusia County. Daytona Beach, of course, is the lead agency. Dr. Marbert Consulting, was brought in by the city of Daytona Beach to make recommendations to our city commissioners so that we might be able to reduce homelessness in Daytona Beach, which would impact as well the entire county. In order to develop the recommendations, Dr. Margaret did his own analysis, as he has done in other cities. He looked at our current situation in Volusia County. He looked at all of the statistics and reports from the local agencies that he could get his hands on. He interviewed individuals who were homeless. Meetings were held with community persons who had a stake in our city. He posed as a homeless person to better understand the homeless community. 50 to 60% of homeless individuals, according to his study, have major mental health issues. 78% of those same individuals have a substance abuse issue, according to his study. 90% of homeless have at least one or both of these issues. He recommends that we change from a culture of enablement to a culture of engagement. And here's the reasons that he cites. Street services and feeding enables homelessness. Feeding programs do not address root causes of homelessness. Programs are needed for mental, behavioral health, substance abuse, job training, placement, and life skills. Food in parks and on beaches, according to his study, increase homelessness. Sleeping under a bridge, there's the bridge, or a jail cell floor is not a 24/7 recovery program, according to Dr. Margaret. Our community, any community, should establish an individual case management system for homeless candidates. And that case management system brings agencies into a central location that can assist the homeless with various issues that they may be facing to help them get back to wholeness. If the present model is not changed, homelessness in Volusia County, according to his study, will increase dramatically. Here's his plan of action. Dr. Margaret proposes that we create a 24/7 service center to improve services through one central location and adopt a strategic holistic action plan for changes and implementation. Wrong placement of a center could have dire consequences, according to his study, and dramatically reduce the success rate. Critically interconnected services at Volusia Safe Harbor, at 1140 Red John Drive in Daytona Beach, according to his study, should be near the Stuart Marchman facility. One central location for services will significantly increase the capacity to serve the chronically homeless, and it's critical to address families with children simultaneously. Moving again from a culture of enablement to a culture of engagement. He mentions this several times in his study. This includes service agencies, volunteers, staff, donors, funders, government agencies, programs, residents, tourists, and the homeless community. Food programs and panhandling increases homelessness through enablement. The mission should not be to serve, but to increase street graduation rates to wholeness. He proposes that we develop a media and public awareness campaign to educate our community to move from enablement to engagement. He proposes that we promote a change in thinking and a change in doing. There's that old adage that says if you can keep doing the same thing the same way and expect a change, it's a definition for insanity. Street graduation occurs when the homeless move from encampment to a sustainable quality of life that encourages productivity as a citizen. Individually customized engagement plans provide a roadmap out of homelessness to income and housing. Success is measured not by output, but by outcomes and systematic change. He proposes to build or open the 24/7, 365 Come As You Are facility for single homeless men and women called Volusia Safe Harbor, VHS, to improve effectiveness and efficiency We have several agencies that have worked very, very hard to establish Volusia Safe Harbor. Halifax Urban Ministries is currently the best suited agency, according to Dr. Margaret, to operate Volusia Safe Harbor. Agencies such as Haven Recovery Center and Second Harvest should be recruited to relocate all or part of their services to VHS. Adult services throughout the county provided by SMA and HUM and other service agencies can be coordinated from the service center. Street outreach efforts established to bring the homeless to Volusia Safe Harbor for 24/7 transformation services, getting their lives back together. Here's his plan of action. Engagement to VHS, Volusia Safe Harbor. First, outreach. Interface with homeless outreach teams. Have an intake facility for registration and assessment, and a master case management facility. For medical, on-campus and off-campus referrals, dental off-campus, vision mostly off-campus, pharmacy services on-campus, mental health on and off-campus, addictive disorders and substance abuse both on and off-campus. Job placement services are going to be very important. Legal services and ID recovery, very hard to get a job if you don't have your ID. Life skills training, job skills training to include interview and resumes, job placement, coaching, and enlistment of business communities support for their employment. Hygiene services will be in place at the facility, 24/7 restrooms and showers, hygiene skills training and services, haircut services, overnight sleeping, low-demand sheltering, transitional living. Not to be Volusia Safe Harbor is not to be considered a permanent solution for individuals who are homeless. It is transitional in its nature and concept. Feeding. Establish a commercial kitchen on site to provide meals and other support services on site would be a clothing closet, housing placement, veteran services, daytime activities, property storage, donation center. The administrative services for VHS would include security, storage, volunteer coordination, community service work crews, and a Volusia Safe Harbor work crew to keep the facility clean. That should say 9 cities. 9 cities that pledged their financial support for the creation of VHS. Volusia County has verbally agreed to provide the land and $4 million for construction. And let me say, I want to thank Faith. Jessica, I think I saw you. Are you here? I want to thank Faith for giving me updates as to many of the things that they have been doing throughout the county for the Volusia Safe Harbor project. There is no plan to reopen at this time Manatee Park, which would undermine efforts to change our homeless strategies from enablement to engagement. Volusia County has no jurisdiction over the city park system. Online donations have now been established on the website of the City of Daytona Beach. You can go to the city website. The City of Daytona Beach is accepting donations from as low as $10 to as high as $10,000 that can be paid for online using your MasterCard or Visa or by sending a check directly to the City of Daytona Beach, mailed to P.O. Box 2451. Attention, Homeless and Indigent Public Assistance Fund. The city website where you can find this link to donate is codb.us/homeless. Or you can go directly to the city website, as I mentioned, and there is a link on the city website for donations. Thank you. That ends the PowerPoint presentation. Our city manager, Mr. Chisholm, is coming And we will have a microphone that will be brought to you should you have a question.
Thank you very much. Got a question already?
Which 9 cities have agreed to participate in this, and what is their agreement level? Are they talking about just being committed to doing operating expenses, and how much are they going to do to do that?
You know, I don't have them right off the top of my head, but I can tell you I met with the city managers of all those cities today. There were 11 cities in that meeting. All of them are reviewing the initial confirmation that they gave us, or commitment they gave us on the financial plan. It's most likely a plan that we will probably restructure somewhat, because some of it doesn't actually fairly treat all of the, in an equitable manner, all of the cities that were contributing. And that was part of our discussion today, so that's going to have to be worked on. But we do have 9 communities that are committed to go forward. There is a formula that's in this plan that says each city, and it goes by city, it's based on population and a number of other things, as to how much each should contribute. And what I'm telling you is I think that plan, that formula is probably going to change so that we address some of the concerns some of the cities had.
But the 9 cities are committed to that
Yes.
going forward is the
Yes.
operating expenses.
It's operating. Operating. Yes.
Anyone else? Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. As I understand it, the yearly cost of this plan is indefinite. And it doesn't seem to me that anyone has put the brakes on this thing, just ballooning from year to year and costing the cities more than they anticipated. And I believe that's why Port Orange said they don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, I can't speak for Port Orange, but I can tell you this. The best information available when the study was originally done showed that there's $1.6 million of intent that we could expect to have to spend to support that facility for a 250-bed facility. There's a number of issues that impact that, and how many beds do you end up in the end, and how many participants do you end up in the program. That all impacts your operating costs. That is going to evolve as we go forward, and we'll have a better handle on what the cost should be in the end. But
Plus the cost of the staff and administrators.
that's all part of that cost.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I knew you had a soft voice.
So, it said Volusia County will be providing the land. Where is it gonna be?
Currently, the Stuart Martin facility on Red John Road is one of the locations where we've identified, and the county has committed to give us property in that location. Yes.
Okay, so, I know not everybody else is Jan. I'm just curious, who is responsible for making the decision to close it at the time that it's closed? And was there any thought in how that would impact the homeless people's situation in Daytona Beach, and how it was going to impact the downtown merchants? Because it seems like it's not a well thought out decision. Who made that decision?
Well, I did.
Okay.
That's my job to make decisions. The bathrooms were torn up by some of the users. They were not usable at the time, so we closed it for construction. At the same time, we had other activities that began to take place, and I'm not sure they were connected or not, because I think the encampment we have is comprised of more than just people that happen to be in Daytona Beach at the time. We have people from all over the county in the encampment currently. Yes, sir.
How do you know that, Tim?
That's what I'm being told by the agencies that are providing service of it.
Well, you know,
Wait, just a minute. This gentleman here had a question.
I have a question. Someone mentioned that the beds at the Salvation Army are pretty much full, but it seems that there's still people that don't have a place to stay. What are the plans that are being put forward for what to do in the interim?
We're working with them to develop an additional, I think it's 30 beds we're trying to develop with them. And with the Salvation Army, we have about, I think, 18 more beds we're trying to put into play.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I read on the chart they're saying, My concern was, they was talking about putting up temporary tents on North Street, but I read it on the board, said there's no way that we're doing this, right?
That's correct.
Okay, but that's my concern. So with that being said, y'all already done found your places that you're putting it on, but I said we already have a shelter there. Y'all not gonna bring it down the street, are you?
No.
North Street off the.
We're not going to permit, a tent city in the city.
Okay.
That's in violation of our code. What we're going to do is use the agencies that currently are providing the services, and we're contracting with them to continue providing service and expand their service level to reach the homeless population needs in the community.
So y'all really think that's possible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Having attended the county council meeting a few days ago, it's my understanding while they agreed to donate the property and I think $4 million, they have the city of Daytona on a timeline. I think they got you on a 60-day timeline to come up with the funding. I think that ends the 1st of March. Do you anticipate being able to meet that deadline?
I anticipate we'll have a response and a negotiated agreement within that same timeline. Yes, sir.
Yes,
The donation site you have online for the city, can you designate where you want your monies to go if you want to donate, say, toward the operation of Safe Harbor as opposed to?
Absolutely. It has two options. One is for the long-term project of Safe Harbor and the short-term project for homeless that are in need today.
Thank you.
I'm going to come back to you too, because I know you. I know you guys. Yes, ma'am.
It seems to me that it's taken a long, I can go to city council meetings.
Yeah.
For 6 months, I have heard homeless advocates, homeless people, and merchants get out and say, we have a problem with the homeless population. Please help us. Everybody needs help, merchants, the homeless people. And for 7 months, I've seen the city council do virtually nothing. Even though Mark's plan was available. And it seems like until the county issued the ultimatum, the city council didn't do much. I'm wondering why there has been this long delay.
Well,
City taking action.
we had, you probably don't know this, that during those 7 months, we were flying all over the country looking at different facilities that were currently being used in other communities to get a good idea of what to expect when we open a facility. And that takes time and effort. We made those trips and came back with a confirmation of one thing. You have to have a facility that serves as the entry point for the homeless to begin getting services, and you got to have a facility that can provide the assessment, the initial assessment, and case management identification for those particular individuals if you're going to be successful in the end. It is more than just providing food. It's more than just providing housing. And that is our goal, is to reach the population in a correct manner, provide both the interim step of assessment and case management to hopefully graduate them back into housing of their own, and so they can sustain their own selves as they become citizens in that fashion. Now, not everybody's going to fit that mold. There's going to be others, because all of them have different issues, and we have to be able to address those issues. And that's what we're attempting to do, is come up with a program that not only brings them into the community as a part of the community itself, but give them the tools to be successful and process them in a way that they get the kind of help they need. Now, let me ask something about somebody else. Yes, sir.
As a homeless man myself, just recently,
Yes.
you're talking about moving the facility all the way up to a marketing facility.
Yes.
How do you plan on providing jobs and transportation to people who are trying to?
Well, the services are going to be provided at the facility itself. The transportation system, there's a bus system runs there currently. As it goes through. Okay. All you have to do is make a phone call. Because we have outreach programs where they will come and pick you up. Well, that's everything takes time. Everything's going to take some planning. Yes, ma'am.
How soon could this safe harbor be built and operational?
It probably will take us, I'm just being realistic, 12 months. We just went through a selection process today on the architect who designed, And I don't know who is selected, but that'll be the first action that we take in moving forward. So as that is in place, then we'll have to get all that permitted with the county. So it takes time to get through those processes. And we have to get the agreement complete with the county. So it's my estimation you're talking about a year before you get the permanent facility done. And in the interim, we'll be working with these two agencies we're working with now.
Given that's an operational cost annually?
The annual is between 1.2 and 1.6 million. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm probably going overboard here, but, coming in, I was interested, and I talked to a gentleman, he said he's a veteran. Is there anything out there to help veterans realize?
Yes, ma'am.
We have a new program out to help them? to get
There is a
everything?
program, yes, ma'am, there is a program for it. If you put him in touch with us, Mike can help you.
Okay.
Okay.
Just whisper them out, and just show me what point me to him, he'll help me, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Jim, you accepted responsibility for making the decision to close the Humanity Island and City Island. Okay, now, would you apologize to the Beach Street merchants for causing the crisis on Beach Street? The bathrooms are fine, and
They are now.
okay, well then open them back up.
Yes,
Are you
sir.
going to apologize to the
No.
Beach Street merchants?
No, I'm not apologizing to anybody.
I know that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. With all due respect, Mr. City Manager, a cheetah has 700 pounds of jaw strength. A great white shark has 1,250 pounds of jaw strength. And a pit bull has 2,000 pounds of jaw strength and locks down on you. You can't get it off. And some of the people over there at the tag office at 250 South Beach Street have pit bulls on the leash right now. And if they fall asleep or the pit bull gets loose, somebody may, God forbid, get eaten alive down there. Why haven't the pit bulls been removed from those people and put back at home where they belong in fenced yards?
That's a good question. We'll sort of look into it.
5 counties in South Florida have banned
Okay.
pit bulls.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll answer some questions. Those are kind of grateful that you went out and explored for 7 months, that this tight, safe harbor model is going to work. That's awesome. Now, I know that you can see confidently that this is what we have to do. But in that 7 months interim, still, people were requesting something be done for the immediate needs of the homeless people, and it seems like nothing has been done until, Commissioner Williams did this whole thing, which seemed very last minute and scrambled. And I'm just so curious as to why the city has not been addressing this on an immediate need before the building safe harbor. Can you answer that? I'm discussing safe harbor.
Yes, I can. The homeless issue is not a normal function of city government. It has not been until probably the last 10 years that we end up with a lot more activities by cities that deal with homeless issues. And in our case, we were never prepared to deal with homeless issues until I think it was in the last 2 years we started seeing that the issue was more impactful than we originally thought. So that's the best I can tell you is we didn't fully, there's a large group of thought in all cities that it's a county responsibility because it's a countywide issue. It's not just Daytona Beach, and it's not just Ormond Beach or New Smyrna Beach or the land. It's a countywide issue. And we have been trying to get the county to assume responsibility, and the best we can get is the county to agree to pay for the construction of the facility and provide the land. So rather than sit back and argue about, well, they should be doing it, we decided to take the lead and to move forward and try to garner not only the capital money, but garner the operating funds from other cities and other groups to hopefully fund this activity. And money's always the real problem in the end. And until we had some confidence we could get all that done, we couldn't move forward. Yes.
Okay, so at the last city council meeting, I think John got up and he said that there is some kind of facility that has like 80 beds, that's just not being utilized, that the city is running or owning or something.
No. I don't know what John was talking about, but, you know, the facility, the two facilities that, I mean, the one facility that's actually operational is the Salvation Army facility over on Blue Road. And they have permits that allow them to expand to take the capacity that we need. And that's who we're working with primarily. The second group is that we're working with them to see, they have some outreach, some rapid housing options for us, and we're going to work with them also. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
My main concern is children's welfare, and
Yeah.
I was wondering, I noticed slide mentioned that children and families would be addressed concurrently. What's being done now, and what will be done to address the problem of children?
There's another program that's being really put together by a private group that is focused on taking the school and moving the family element into that school process. And they're working on that separate of what we're doing. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
All the way in the back, yes, ma'am.
What about the old Volusia halfway house that can house about 100 people?
I'm not familiar with it, but if you'd like to talk to me afterwards, I'd be happy to look into it. But way back in the back, there's a gentleman.
One other question. I noticed the term HUM, which is Halifax Urban Ministry, and I've heard
Yes.
the Salvation Army. If the Salvation Army is the temporary solution, and I'm not dissing HUM at all, I've never heard of HUM until I got involved in this. I've heard of the Salvation Army. I think everyone in this room has. Why, I'm just wondering why the Salvation Army is not being the lead agency in this thing. If they're the temporary solution, why can't they be the permanent solution?
I think they are the lead agency. If de facto is not being recognized, and they'll tell you, we recognize them for their fine work in trying to provide a solution to this issue for the city. They have the capability and they really have the funding necessary to be successful in providing services for the homeless. So we're very encouraged with what they are doing. Yes, ma'am, way in the back.
I'm just curious, we have a race coming up in Daytona in a couple of days. What are you guys planning to do to decrease the economic impact of the Beach Street location on those business owners down there on Beach Street?
Yeah, we hope to have a solution in the terms of having beds necessary to take care of the population that remains there within the next 2 weeks.
Well, the race is on the 29th,
Right.
so that's closer than 2 weeks. So what's your short-term, really short-term plan?
We're already, I think there's 64 beds we've put into play already. And there's about another 30 we're trying to get done in that.
Have you been meeting with the business owners down there?
Not yet. We have not met with the business community downtown, other than through the downtown association, or the downtown.
Is that in the works?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I was thinking, once you get your business homeless shelter off the ground, how are you gonna choose your employees? Are you gonna branch out to people with degrees? Are you gonna use the homeless people that have been through the?
You know, I don't have an answer to that because you're getting into the operation of the shelter itself, and we're
Well,
not.
I'm just asking because if you're out on the street, they would be the good people to graduate, the good ones, and get them going, and, you know,
I think-
empower.
I think it's a great idea. Yes,
The homeless businesses are beginning to be a provision in safe harbor for it comes to, that's what they have.
Yeah, can somebody give
The
him a
question
mic?
is, what are we doing? Yeah.
Are there any provisions for people that have pets that go to safe harbor? Is there a place to put their pets?
We have agreements with the Halifax Humane Society, and that'll be part of an element that we'll have to finalize with them. We currently use it.
Are contributions to the city tax deductible?
Yes, ma'am.
And who's going to manage that, the distribution of funds, particularly in the interim purpose?
It comes back through my office, and it's with the agencies, the two agencies, the HUM and Salvation Army. They're the primary ones that are providing services currently. And
Essentially, it would be funds that would be going from the city to the
to those And there's other things that they need too. There's in some cases, some of these folks want to go back home to wherever their homes are, and there's a need for travel money, and that's a part of what this would do, is help them get back to their family. All right. Yes, sir.
According to the Huffington Post of November of 2012, the City Commission in Columbia, South Carolina voted 6-0 to build a 600-bed homeless shelter. Well, once they got it built, you can't leave without an appointment. And they escort you out and escort you back in. The police are guarding all the roads to and from the place, and the local police in the surrounding cities, including Columbia, go around and round up the homeless people and throw them in there. And under FEMA rules, if you become homeless, you lose your job and lose your house and your apartment and can't pay your mortgage and become homeless. You're then considered a threat to yourself and the surrounding community and not able to care for yourself. And that's the reason they're using to throw people in there. And I suspect that's why they want to build it so close to slingshots, throw away from the jail, so it'd be very convenient to just take the right down the street to the jail.
I'm glad we're in Florida. I'm glad we're in Florida, because we're not, that's not our goal, it's not what we're headed. Yes,
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
Exactly, that in Pinellas County, they built the Pinellas County Safe Harbor House. They have a capacity of 400 people. They run on the same budget of $1.6 million a year. They process 100 people through there every month. I spoke to them on Monday. So it's not an old 2012 number. It's a real live today number.
Yeah.
So I encourage the city to pursue this, and if anybody's got any good sense and love for the homeless, this is a great en masse way to produce and provide for them a shower, a toilet, a little dignity, a little self-respect, some fresh clothes, and a meal. And to answer the gentleman who asked about HUM, they're primarily a feeding organization. Pinellas County got that thing off the ground. They gave people those 3 basic things. And then they brought in outside services to do drug and alcohol, mental rehabilitation, decide who needs government services, who we can push off to the Veteran Administration, who we can push off to the government for Social Security, or put them in a home, or whatever they need. Because each and every one of these people is going to be different. And that's probably the hardest thing. You have to pull weeds in your yard or try to get weeds out of your grass. Each one's different. You've got to get each and every one. So I commend the county. I think the city has got an unfair burden of its homeless. And you notice when people get out of jail, they're given a bus pass and it goes to one place.
Daytona Beach.
Daytona Beach. And there's no more money or places for them to go back home. And that's right by Manatee Island. What a lovely, safe place to sit back in the grass and go, well, what do I do now? And what I do now, I go look for food. So this enabling, I think, is a brilliant observation. It's unfortunate that we call it that, but that's where we're at in society. And we all need to sort of, give a little with each other. And I think the largest conflict that's going to happen is between people like the ACLU contending that a religious-based organization is providing services. And all they ask in return is an open heart. They're not asking for a commitment. They're not asking them to go off on a Christian crusade and give their life. They're asking to open up to God. Whether your God is Allah or Moses or Jesus, and the idea is that it's, we are our brother's keeper, whatever his thoughts. And I like to say in closing, your mind may wander, but your soul is not for sale. We've got to get back on these people. It said 80 to 90% of them are probably physically, mentally disabled, and that's how they got to this situation. So yes, we need some, there's a good, so probably 15, 20, 30% that can get back on their feet, get an apartment, get a job. you know? And you gotta start somewhere, folks. So you all need to just give each other a little room to get their pieces done. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, and none of us are perfect. And we all have to make the best decisions we can based on the information we have. And the needs of the homeless are apparent, and we're doing everything we can to address them right now. Greg, you had a question?
First, thanks for what you did tonight, what you did on Nancy Island. You don't come out often in the public and take questions like this, so straight off, such a long time, and thank you for doing that. Very impressive.
It's a daunting task to address issues that have a lot of emotion with it, and this is one of those issues.
Can I give you some feedback?
Yes, sir.
I know this has been a twisty, turning little road, and then passes and funding, but over these couple of years that we've been marketing and exploring, a lot of other stuff has gone on in this town, and it's related, at least in my eyes. We have a problem that I think the community finally realizes is bigger than Daytona. Yet they keep trying to stick Daytona with the bill. And if you're a poor you're out trying to beg, borrow, and steal from every city around. And it seems to me backwards from the start. Instead of the county saying we need more money from the cities already giving money. Everybody in here sends the county money to handle county-wide business. And we got a county that's given away $40 million in the last 2 years between corporate welfare, buying off-beach parking, refurbishing their county council chambers, and a whole host of other things. That $40 million could have paid for 10 years worth of safe harbor, 10 years worth of no beach balls, and we could have got rid of some portables that my kids go to school in. So now that we finally stirred this up to a boiling point, is the next time we meet with those city managers, would you please broach the subject that maybe now it's time to give the county a proposal of $0, that they should be paying for this. And I think when you and Alan Green and Mayor Hathaway and you guys get together, I mean, how many people in here think the county should be paying for this and not sticking this to the You shepherded this a long way, but now it's time. I'm getting important. And they don't have the power. The city managers and our elected officials have the power. Please, if you can't find a way to put them together, please know that there's a whole community of people here ready to see you stand up and go, okay, Josh Wagner, here's my latest offer, $0.
We all feel that way many times, and I can tell you all the managers have some of the same frustration, but we got a task, and we want to stay focused on our task, because we have to get this issue solved for our community and for the people that are suffering the most, which are the homeless, and that's what we're headed right now. But very good point. Yes, Jim?
So a lot of people who are homeless have a drug addiction. What if they keep relapsing? Are they just going to be kicked back on the streets, or?
That's a challenge that I know the case managers face every day, and dealing with addiction is a very difficult problem. I've had family members that have been afflicted with that disease, if you want to call it a disease, but you really have to change. To be successful, in my mind, you have to change the people that they associate with, you have to change their whole mode of operation, and you really have to not only cure their addiction problem, you also have to help them find a better way to look for things to do in their life and feel good about themselves. So it's a real challenge. I don't think anybody's got an answer for everything, but I know it's one that our people, the outreach people, they see it every day, and they have the biggest hearts of anybody I know, and I can't think of a job that's more challenging than the one they have. Okay, let's get some people that who else wants to say something, because I got about 3 people that have taken a lot of questions here. Anyone else? All right, we'll go with this lady first, and then you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So back to Roseanne issue. City Island bathrooms. They're open during the farmers market. Are they going to be open
Right now, they're open on during farmer's market and there's another occasion, event. The event activity takes place there. When something's, that's the current schedule.
But there's no plans to reopen them,
I can't say there isn't any plans. We'll certainly look at it. That's something we're gonna have to consider. Okay? Yes, sir.
One of the reasons I got involved in this is I have a county background in New York City also. And I came down here and I was looking at the ongoing funding and that's what I want to get involved with. I don't want to be a case manager. And, is the track on city property?
No.
Just give them a huge sales tax break?
No, the track is on county property.
Excellent. What I'm saying is that I think the break was around 400 million.
Yeah.
We're looking for 2 million a year on the upside. Let's be realistic on the upside. Worst case. We're looking at 1/2 of 1%. Okay, it's not going to fill their dividends or their bottom line or something. I think we may need to go back and renegotiate that deal. If we can get that up through the city to the county, no, excuse me. We have a huge impact, and they're about to start on Daytona 1. And I mean, the encampment on Beach Street could end up on ISD, barring private security disrupting types. They dropped them right in front of that, as the lady said about the racists coming to town. So I think if we can touch base with the organization in France and say, we're looking for $1 million, how about half? You match every dollar, something like that, where we can get this kind of money on an ongoing basis.
We're working with a lot of those same people, so I can tell you, they're not oblivious to what's going on. And I can tell you the financial impact and the number of jobs that they bring to our community is significant.
Yeah,
And
because people want shower and shave to go down there and apply, and that's what's.
well, yeah, you got all levels of jobs. There's over 5,000, over 4,000 jobs that are construction jobs that's been involved in the state itself. And about the same is going to be involved when you get into the one Daytona project. So it's the impact is significant.
But I'm talking about the monies for the ongoing funding for people who are 80% who are mentally and physically disabled who can't get those jobs.
You're absolutely correct. Okay.
I just want to make it clear to everybody that the state organization and the city is going to have tried for years to get the county council to fund operating expenses, and it was a definite compromise because we did not have a majority vote on the county council for them to donate the land, the $4 million, and the operating, even part of the operating expenses. So, I mean, it's been a community-wide effort, and I know the faith organization decided to make a compromise. We all know that it's a county-wide problem. If you live in a city, you pay taxes to both entities. We all know that, but the political reality is that they were not willing. And maybe the Daytona Beach representative was, and maybe one of the other council members was, but no one else was. So they were not willing. And I mean, to try again would just leave people on North Beach Street for longer.
Sure.
Enough is enough.
Pinellas County was run by their sheriff.
Right.
We tried that.
And it was funded by them. It was funded by the state attorney because they ran their jail also.
We
So
went
that's the
to-
problem. Those are some of these differences we have.
We studied Pinellas.
We have to overcome it. I have to.
We went there, we know, what took place, and they had very similar problems, except that the county took responsibility there. That was the only difference. But, the whole, how did we get to this point is certainly interesting and worthy of discussion, but the real thing that we face now is how we solve this problem, and that's where we're focused on. And even with all the distractions and everybody, you can't believe the number of options that's been thrown out in the middle of this project trying to get it planned of, oh, this is a better idea, they do it in Utah, or they do it in LA. Well, we went to Utah, and we went to those other sites, and you know what? They have to do the same thing we're doing here. And that's what everybody missed in that process. So it took time, we studied it. We did not have everybody on board whenever all these other ideas came out. And we probably don't have everybody on board now. But we're going to stay focused on where we're going and get this project done.
We have just 5 minutes, everybody.
I thought this is the county agreement thought, maybe I didn't get it right.
county's commitment is $4 million to capital construction plus the land. That's it. Now, in fairness to the county, if you take the $4 million and amortize it over 15 years, they're actually paying what they would probably pay in contributions toward the operating costs if they made that as a contribution to the operator. That's, if you measure it based on what everybody else is paying, it's not like they're getting off scot-free, because they are making a significant contribution. Yes, sir.
You're talking about building a new facility way out there and jobs and such. Have y'all considered operating labor calls or staffing solutions in the area to see if they can come in to help with this in the building?
When we get to the design phase, all that's going to be part of that effort, is to get all these other corporations willing to participate in the private sector in the funding, and it may reduce the cost of this ultimate construction. I think there's one more question back there, and then we'll call it a night. Yes, sir.
Yes, I have one question. Have there been assessments on the homeless? In other words, we're providing facilities and housing. What type of assessment has been done to know who the homeless really is? Is it local people? Is it, and that type of thing? What supporting services do we have?
We have outreach programs, both, I know that the Salvation Army has an excellent outreach program, which means they have individuals that go out and interview and assess each of those individuals to determine, what their problems are, where do they fit in the scheme, and I know they can explain this a little better than I can, but they do an analysis so that they can get them into a program of rehabilitation in this process. It's not just, you're homeless, we're going to take you to a facility. They're going to do an assessment, make sure they fit the need that we're trying to achieve, and that is to take them off the streets, and then they're going to help them from it's not just the initial assessment, it's continue to case manage these individuals so they can be successful.
So how's that information integrated? Integrated with the city, perhaps integrated with other local agencies? How's that information integrated?
There's a reporting system, a continuum of care group, and a reporting system, and they all use the same system, and they talk to each other. But if you want to know more,
I'll talk to him after.
he's for the